Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are live at 5, and it's brought to you by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call 855-TRAJAN-1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. The Walker Kessler trade continues to be big-time news, Ben, and we're going to get the Lakers side of things coming up in just a second. In fact, let's go ahead and get out to the zone phone. Joining us now, he covers the Lakers for the California Post. He's Khobi Price with us here on Jake and Ben. Khobi, thanks for a few minutes. How are you?
Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, no, thanks for having me on. How you guys doing?
We're doing terrific. I guess, how are Laker fans feeling today? Is this what they imagined the team looking like in the first year post-LeBron with Luka steering the car?
I mean, the most optimistic Lakers fans, sure, but this is just what they hope for. I mean, Luka's spoken on it, or not publicly, but, well, yeah, actually publicly. He's spoken on it publicly, the desire to have a top-flight center, a top-flight big man. And, yes, I know, Walker Kessler may not be the most proven big man in the league, but he fits the description of the archetype of center that Luka likes to play alongside. Rim running, finishing at the rim, protecting the rim, deterring the rim, big body. And this has been the Lakers' biggest target for a while. I mean, the Lakers have been looking at Walker Kessler for going on 4 years now. So, yeah, again, even the most optimistic Lakers fan, they could have hoped that this would be the case, but a lot of them didn't even imagine this would be the case.
What's the reaction for what the Lakers had to give up and the overall value of the contract?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? I mean, what, 2 unprotected first-round picks, 2 pick swaps, in addition to the $130 million over 4 years. And it's not just that in a vacuum. In the bigger picture, like, those are, that's really it in terms for the Lakers in terms of draft capital. To use in a trade, whether it's to acquire another player or to trade one of your own players to make roster room. At this point for the Lakers, I think all they have left is they can use other pick swaps, or they have a 2033 second-round pick to trade, and that's it. So it's a lot. And I wrote this in a column for the California Post. This was their guy. This was the Lakers' guy, and this was the guy or one of the couple of big men centers that Luka wanted. And this is not just about getting a player like Walker Kessler, who's obviously he comes with his own upsides, his own attributes. This is also about making Luka happy, because something that Lakers fans already know and people within the Lakers are well aware of, Luka only has 2 more seasons guaranteed left on his contract before a player option in 2028. So the Lakers are on the clock, and there was a lot of pressure this offseason to take advantage of the salary cap space and take advantage of Rob Pelinka's favorite word, the optionality they had at their disposal.
So do you think this is viewed by the Lakers right now as, I don't want to say a finished product, they haven't played together, but the product that has a chance to win a championship? Do you think that's what they were trying to accomplish yesterday, or do you think they were just trying to take the first step towards that?
I think it's both. I mean, they acknowledge that, being the Lakers, you're always trying to put together championship caliber rosters, even if ultimately you don't accomplish that goal. But this is a step. I mean, one of the other things that the Lakers, as they were transitioning from the LeBron James, Anthony Davis era, then the LeBron James Soul era, and then LeBron James Luka, you fully transition to the Luka era. They need to build a team that complements Luka, and it's hard to do that, or very challenging to do that within just one transaction cycle, right? Like, it can take multiple transaction cycles, and that takes time, but you need to do it piece by piece. You need to be able, and we saw it in Dallas, a trade deadline here, a free agency there, another trade deadline. You add 1 or 2 players who complement Luka, who can be around for the long haul. And Walker Kessler fits into that category. A player who fits alongside Luka, it's a building block. They, this summer you can say that they maybe not added to, but they brought two back or added to in Austin Reeves, Walker Kessler, two building blocks alongside Luka who can be on the team for the foreseeable future. So it's not a finished product. They know their weaknesses. They know they need more help on the wing. They know that they need better perimeter defense, more athleticism on the wing. But it is a significant step, maybe the most significant step to having a championship caliber roster, was having a player of Walker Kessler's caliber and ilk alongside Luka and Austin.
What was the reaction to LeBron leaving?
I mean, the same reaction that anything LeBron James related brings about in Los Angeles. Mixed reactions. Some people happy to see him go. 'Cause the reality is that, the Lakers / Los Angeles didn't embrace LeBron in the same way that they've embraced going down the line of Laker legends, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, even players like James Worthy, Robert Horry, Derek Fisher. Like, because LeBron he joined the Lakers at the stage of his career that he was in, he wasn't embracing the same way. However, there's also a sad feeling of, look, this guy, LeBron, he spent more time with the Lakers than he had with any other team consecutively, or consecutive seasons rather. So, like, LeBron, he brought the Lakers back to relevancy after, it's been a while, but the Lakers for a very, significant amount of time, at least by their standards, were irrelevant. He brought them their first championship in 10 years in 2020 when they won the title in the bubble. He helped, he was part of the reason why they were able to trade for Anthony Davis. He, was one of, the leader of the team when they got to Western Conference Finals, multiple playoff appearances. And then obviously all the records that he set or all the accolades he racked up while he was a Laker and countless memories. So there was, again, mixed emotions to the LeBron Lakers tenure ending after, an up and down 8 years.
Looking at some of the other moves that they made, Colin Sexton comes in, somebody we're very familiar with. Mamas Kelishvili's in there. What do you think about this roster overall? I mean, this should be a top 6 playoff team in the Western Conference, I would think.
Could you please repeat his last name one more time? I need to be able to say it myself now that he's on the squad.
I think it's Mamas Kelishvili, but I could be wrong, but that's always what I've heard.
That sounded good to me. He had confidence, right, Kobe? You just got to say, you could say anything. Just say it with confidence.
Mamu, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been calling him Mamu since he entered the league. But, yeah, you're right. You said it with confidence, so I believe that that's the way that it was said. So I'll take note of that. But, no, I mean, what's interesting about their moves, I mean, obviously the Walker deal, like, that's kind of that started their free agency signings, getting Walker in that signing trade with the Jazz. And then after that, you mentioned, I'll call him Mamu since I don't have the confidence to say his name the same way you do. But Mamu, you get Colin Sexton, you add Quentin Grimes. Like, individually, each player, again, we're talking about building around Luka and then also, in mind, Austin and Walker. Like, each player makes sense in their own right? Like, Colin, he adds the shooting, the secondary ball handling, the toughness. Quentin Grimes, he has an off-ball score, he can get downhill. And Colin also adds a playmaking element. Like, and then Mamu just like an all-around, he can score a little bit, can pass a little bit, handle, big man, stretch the floor. Each player in their own right makes sense, but as a collective, a lot of questions about, are those players the caliber of players as a collective for what the Lakers needed? And then also on top of that, the contracts they gave out specifically to Grimes and Mamu, all of, between Walker, Quentin Grimes, and Mamu, these are all 4-year deals with player options at the end of them. So, I mean, significant investments across the board in free agency. Colin Sexton obviously gets a 2-year deal with the player option on the second year, but it's not, it doesn't look like a championship caliber roster, to be honest, right now, but they're not done. They still have 2 roster spots. They still have a little bit of room to, again, add that defensive-minded wing. So they still have opportunities and chances, but it's getting tougher after all the moves they did make.
Khobi Price is with us from the California Post. I'm curious with the new ownership. We saw ownership change here with the Jazz a few years ago, And Ryan Smith kept some faces around, and he changed others. Obviously, he brought in Danny Ainge and then Austin Ainge, but Justin Zanuck, who was here under the previous ownership group, has stayed, and there are other examples within the building. From an outsider perspective, it seems like the Lakers haven't changed much, right? They still have the same GM, the same coach. I'm curious, do you expect more things to change? And I guess maybe this is a long-winded way of asking, does Rob Pelinka maybe feel the pressure of having to improve or impress his new bosses?
Well, I'll just the first part of that. I mean, yes, on face value, right? Like Rob Pelinka is still the president of basketball operations and general manager. JJ Redick's still the coach. That's been the case for the past couple of years, and for Rob, almost the past close to we're getting to almost a decade now. But there have been a lot of changes internally within the Lakers. I mean, they've cleared out the business side, including bringing Lon Rosen from the Dodgers, hiring him as the president of business operations. And really, there were a lot of changes, like an influx of changes on the business side of the operations. They had, significant layoffs at the end of May in a variety of departments. So even on the less forward-facing positions for the Lakers, there were a lot of changes over the past few months, and almost, going back to October when the sale of the franchise to Mark Walter was made official. So there have been changes. There have been considerable changes, and even right now they're redoing the practice facility, and that's the other thing. Like the Dodgers-Lakers connection, the Lakers are taking advantage of that. They're adding new medical labs, testing labs. Like they're revamping their practice facility in light of their G League team moving out to Coachella Valley and having just more space. So, not as many, again, forward-facing changes, but still a lot of changes happening in the background. Now, the Rob Pelinka part, yes, I don't think it's a secret throughout the league. We're just talking about someone in the league about this yesterday. There is pressure on him, and he knows that. Everyone understands that. This summer, this offseason is a crucial one, was a crucial one, and remains a crucial one for Rob Pelinka's job security. Even with him, getting the promotion to president last year, and even with him getting a contract extension, we've seen that Mark Walter, as owner, he'll be patient. But we've also seen that if you don't deliver on the expectations that, a Mark Walter operation has, and that is very similar to what the Lakers operation is, which is compete for championships and win championships and put together championship caliber rosters year in and year out, you're going to be out of a job. So, and we saw that with the Dodgers. Mark, the GM at the Dodgers, was there for a couple of years, but they weren't delivering in the way that was needed, and they hired Dave Roberts. And obviously since then, it's been great for them. So, yes, Rob Pelinka feels that pressure. He knows that pressure, and that's why this offseason was so crucial in a variety of ways.
The Jazz are getting Jackson Hayes to come in as a backup center, I would imagine. I don't think he's starting on this team next year. There are fans that are concerned about it. He has a checkered history with domestic assault and resisting arrest. What was he like to cover as a person?
Yeah, I mean, all of that is accurate. I also like to point out that at least the league never, at least with me specifically, after asking, but never. There was never a public closed case on that in that regard, but in terms of the league's investigation into the matter. But in terms of Jackson, he treated the media well. Doesn't take away from obviously the things that you're saying, but he treated the media well, and he was good to cover.
You going to miss the circus that is covering LeBron?
Excuse me, what did you say?
You're going to miss the circus that is covering LeBron James from just a media side of things.
Yeah, sorry. It is a circus. It is a circus. I mean, part of me will. The circus part of it, sometimes there'll be, even if when it's not his fault, drama that surrounds him that's not necessarily his fault. I think back to earlier this year when the whole documented rift between him and Jeannie Buss, or maybe Jeannie Buss toward him. It'd just be a lot of unnecessary drama. But I also will say, I've been covering LeBron I had covered LeBron rather for the previous 3 years, and to be able to cover and be around such a legendary player and just learn what it's like to cover a player of that caliber, that's something that's been extremely beneficial for me in my career. So in that regard, I've been lucky to be in this position to do so, and it's going to be weird. I mean, this upcoming season will be the first Lakers team I've covered that doesn't feature, LeBron James, and that's just like it is going to be for everybody else. It's going to be a transition for me too.
What's it been like covering Luka, and do you think that will change now that it's not LeBron's team?
I don't know if Luka will so much change, but I mean, more is going to be required from him as a leader. Quite frankly, inside and outside of the locker room, I mean, he's already been the face of the franchise, but because LeBron was there, he didn't have the full weight and responsibility of being the face of the Lakers, if that makes sense. There's a pressure, there's an expectation that comes with that, and on the Luka side, part of that is also winning a championship or championships. So it's going to be interesting, to see how that, how he navigates through that pressure, because obviously he's been a great player, right? Back in Dallas, he was a great player, but it's different in LA. It just simply is. And I'm sure LeBron could attest to that. He could tell Luka about that. The pressure is different when you're trying to win a championship in LA versus, for LeBron, Cleveland and Miami, and then for Luka, Dallas. So that's something that I think will be interesting to document, just how he handles that pressure as being the true sole face of the Lakers.
Well, Khobi, thanks for jumping on with us. You're going to enjoy covering Walker Kessler. He's good with the media, and he's kind of goofy and friendly, and he'll give you a quote. So you'll enjoy covering him.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I've heard good things about Walker, so I'm looking forward to meeting him. We've actually met before, but he may not remember. But I'm looking forward to talking with him more regularly, and everything that he'll bring to the Lakers.
Well, thanks for jumping on with us, Khobi. We really appreciate it. Great stuff.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
There you go. That's Khobi Price. He covers the Lakers for the California Post.
Yep.
I don't know. I've never covered a player that I would consider a circus. Jimmer maybe a little bit, but I wasn't really on the front lines covering in the locker room for that.
Certainly not every night.
No.
And especially on the road. On the road, now maybe a little bit with Jimmer, but you weren't on the road with Jimmer.
No.
But when LeBron comes to town, media members make a big deal out of it. LeBron's in town. Go ask him a question. Go talk to him. Go get him on video. It does translate well. Ask about local players, yada, yada, yada. Some of the old tricks in radio or media, I should say, that people like to do. So losing that is a big deal. And it's probably a positive, honestly, for the reporters. But as I said, LeBron is a little bit of a golden goose for reporters in the past. We talked about Bill Oram, who became the lead columnist up at the Oregonian, and Kyle Goon, who became the lead columnist out at a paper in Baltimore, in his hometown, just because they went to L.A. and covered LeBron. Now, they're also talented writers, but I will pull back the curtain. There's a lot of talented writers. There's a lot of people who can cover sports well.
I think it has more to do with L.A. than it does LeBron, honestly. But LeBron does garner attention. That's the reason why even though we consider his run with the Lakers somewhat of a failure, the Lakers probably made $1 zillion from just having LeBron on their team.
Do you think either Kyle Goon or Bill Oram have LeBron on their resume as far as I covered LeBron and the Lakers?
No. I hope not.
I don't know. Okay, let me ask you this. If you covered the Clippers, would you say I covered the NBA in Los Angeles or I covered the Clippers?
I'd be honest and say I covered the Clippers.
Well, it's not going to help you. You got to lie in that situation, man. But when was the last time you made a resume? It's probably been a while.
It has been a while. And by the way, it should have everything to do with who you work for and your work, not what team you're covering, which is
I would love if that was true.
Is a misconception. It is true.
Is it? You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of disagree.
Well, I don't think that the Knicks and the Lakers are a little different because they're big markets. The media hubs in the United States are L.A. and New York. You want to know why writers advance and they want to go there. It has way more to do with the market than the actual team. It has to do with what paper you write for and the exposure you get writing for it.
Sure.
But I don't think all of a sudden, Oklahoma City isn't a big city. I don't think all of a sudden their writer gets a huge job somewhere else simply because they covered a good team.
Okay, that's fair. You probably have to have both.
I think you can move up through the media business covering an absolute crappy team. What kind of work do you do?
It's easier to get your work noticed because you write in Los Angeles or New York than it is.
Exactly what I said. but it has nothing to do with the team that you're covering. If you have a job at the LA Times, you're going to have something on your resume that's going to help get you in the door pretty much everywhere in the country. It has nothing to do with covering the Lakers.
Who covers the Clippers?
It doesn't matter.
Who covers the Clippers for ESPN?
I don't know who covers the Lakers.
Yeah, you do.
But that's ESPN. We're talking about local writers. ESPN, you don't put I cover ESPN, cover the Lakers for ESPN. You say I work for ESPN. I cover the league. I cover the NBA. I write for ESPN.
I bet you still put the Lakers, to be honest with you.
I don't think the Lakers have anything to do with it. I really don't.
I kind of think they do. Honestly, I think they do. I think people like to see that. I think people hiring like to see you worked for a big team, you covered big names, you can handle then wherever you go next.
But see, that kind of thinking leads to something that I just hate in media, where people whose job it is to cover something all of a sudden identify with it, like they're somehow a member of the team or a member of that, which I find gross.
I'm with you.
And totally counterproductive. So I actually refuse to believe what you're saying, whether you're right or not, because that's gross. You cover a team, you're not on the team. The team's success or failure has nothing to do or does not reflect anything upon the people who are covering it.
In a perfect world, you're right. In a vacuum, in a perfect world, you're right. Unfortunately, that's not accurate.
I don't think Bill's advancement through the business has anything to do with the Lakers at all. I think it has something to do with Los Angeles. I'd listen to that argument. Or the papers he wrote for in Los Angeles, but I don't think it has anything to do with the Lakers. Wendy's success has to do with LeBron, but that's LeBron handpicking somebody to put at ESPN. That's not what happened to Bill.
No, it did not happen to Bill.
All right, but I thought Khobi was really good, so all this success to that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I root for everyone to have success, yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll have more next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Just doing it big, you know?
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. Happy Independence Day. We're going to be off as a station tomorrow, and then we will be back on Monday. And then we're going to be live from Big 12 Media Day starting on Tuesday, Ben. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yep.
Which I haven't done a Big 12 Media Day in Dallas, so I'll be curious to see how this goes.
Same. I've never been to Dallas.
Ever, period?
Ever, period.
I covered the Armed Forces Bowl one year when BYU played Tulsa. Mm-hmm. And it was fine. I haven't spent much time there, but that was kind of a fun bowl game to cover at SMU Stadium. Riley Nelson won. That BYU team won 10 games. I think it was their first. It was either their last year in the Mountain West or first year as an independent. I think it was their first year as an independent. But I'm expecting it to be hot.
Woof.
And I'm expecting to be bothered that I'm not in Las Vegas. Because if at least I'm going to be extraordinarily hot, at least I could be in Las Vegas.
I would have felt pressured, not by our bosses, but by my own job, to go and take in summer league games that night. And I'm glad I'm not able to do that.
You don't want to go to summer league games?
I don't want to do both.
Okay.
I don't want to go straight from Big 12 Media Day, hike across Las Vegas, even though it's actually not terribly, terribly far, but try and get a car, then go sit in the gyms at Vegas and try and catch a couple of games on what's going to be a pretty quick turnaround for us.
Locke was on the show earlier, Ben, and he had a hot take right out of the gate. He compared the Jaylen Brown trade that we broke on the show yesterday to being as bad as the Luka Doncic trade. Now, before I get your reaction to that hot take, should we listen to Bill Simmons, who's a podcaster, former ESPN guy? Doesn't he own Spotify or something crazy?
He created The Ringer, which he created in the ashes of Grantland, which he started at ESPN, which was kind of a crossover between culture and sports, that ESPN kept Grantland, ruined it, shut it down. So he started The Ringer and sold it to Spotify for like $200 million. Something crazy.
Nice to be him.
Good. Bill's a legit media genius. He knows how to do this very well.
But he is also an obnoxious Celtics fan.
He is.
Like horribly obnoxious.
Everything goes back to something Boston.
Yeah.
No matter what he talks about, somehow the Celtics, the Patriots, or the Red Sox come back into view.
It's amazing he's been able to parlay the world's wordiest blogger into some sort of media empire.
He is truly a great podcaster. He might be the best podcaster in the world. He is so good at it. He's so funny, and this is an example of it.
Here's
Come out. My wife's waiting.
Go ahead, Christian. It's fine.
Come out. My wife's waiting to pick me up. And she goes, they traded Jaylen Brown. I'm like, I had just woken up from anesthesia, and I'm not, as you guys know, not really coherent. And I'm like, where'd he go? And she's like, to Philly for Paul George and 2 first-round picks. And I'm like, I think I'm dead. I think I died. The anesthesia killed me, and now I'm a dead person. And I'm like, and I'm just trying to process it, and it's like I have a head injury, and I'm like, are there more first-round picks? Did they get the Clippers first? And she's like, Zoe's really upset. So now my daughter, who likes Jaylen Brown, and I'm like, all right, can you read me what the trade is? And she reads me the trade, and then I stumble out of this hospital place.
Yes, the part we missed of that is the relevant part, that he was getting a colonoscopy and woke up to the Jaylen Brown trade, which is, as you mentioned, Locke said, one of the worst trades of all time, or has the potential to be as bad as the Luka trade. There is something about Paul George in NBA circles, and maybe it's just that the contract matches up, or you can always sell yourself on a high-scoring wing that's kind of a two-way player. The team that trades for him always wins the next trade.
Trading him
away.
Mm-hmm.
You lose the trade acquiring him, but you win the trade sending him away.
Oh, I was true with Oklahoma City. I was not true with the Clippers. He was a free agent.
They get Harden? Did they get Harden for him?
I don't think so. No, they played together for the
that's
Clippers.
right.
No, he left the Clippers as a free agent.
And signed with the
and
Clippers.
Signed with Philadelphia.
Totally spaced that. And then, yes, gets traded by Philly. Well, gets traded by the Clippers to Philly? No, or just signed with Philly as a free agent?
Just signed with Philly as a free agent.
Daryl Morey gave him that huge contract. You're right. And then gets traded to Boston. I just think the money is big enough that other stars generally have to be involved. And then you can always kind of stomach the idea of Paul George, and generally somebody throws some picks in as well.
Paul George was not part of he was part of this trade, but he was not. He was not a incentive for Boston to make it. Part of the reason why it's just amazing that they did. You said it yourself. Philadelphia was going to have to pair a first-round pick to get off of Paul George.
Yes.
So he's not.
It's almost a negative value.
He is a negative value. Yeah, not almost. He is a negative value. That's why I would argue that's why this trade is so bad, is because you did not bring back. I mean, Paul's not even going to play. He didn't. He was on a drug suspension last year. What did he miss the year before? I mean, he just hardly plays. He's average at best when he does. I mean, I don't think Boston. Do you think they really even care about getting Paul George? That's why Philadelphia stole Jaylen Brown. The only positive I can see for the Boston Celtics is that Jaylen was so toxic that he was going to submarine the team next year. Like they could not have functioned, so they had to get him off the team no matter what. That's the only positive, an addition by subtraction. Other than that, I might come along with Locke that this might be as bad as the Luka trade.
Post-COVID, so beginning in the 2020-2021 season, which was shortened to, 72 games, he has played 54, 31, 56, 74, that's the high water mark, 41, 37 games.
So he played 76 in his free agent year.
I think that's a good way to read it.
Yeah, right.
And then barely plays. And then, yes, this last season, to your point, he averaged 17, 5, and 4.
So Boston's not trying to talk themselves into Paul George. Boston had to get rid of Jaylen Brown. They were in a bad position. They were desperate, and they made a bad trade as a result.
Paul George is certainly going to start for them. I don't know how many games he's going to play. But, yes, if the comparison is basketball talent to basketball talent, Jaylen Brown is 1,000 times better right now than Paul George.
And 25 years younger.
Yeah.
and strangely similarly paid, which is wild.
Has one more year on his contract. But there is a belief, there is a lot of people circulating that think that Wyc Grousbeck, who just sold the Celtics to a private equity company, wouldn't have done this. And that this is private equity doing what private equity does really well. Figure out how to make the most money, not care about winning basketball games. And overpaying for Giannis Antetokounmpo in a trade or Jaylen Brown 2 years from now when you sign him to a huge contract extension is not the best move for a private equity company. It's not. You're not going to make as much money. But it is good for a basketball team. And if you want to win as a basketball team, you have to accept that sometimes you have to foot the bill. Sometimes you have to eat money to not win as much in the hopes that later you can win as much. Or you overpay for wins, but you want to win and you want your team to win. And if private equity doesn't want that for the Boston Celtics, they're going to have to figure out how to negotiate that or just accept that that's never going to be the purpose of the franchise.
By the way, I do feel like it's important to I'm not changing your point by any means, but the owner of the Celtics is Bill Chisholm, and he is the owner. Now, he made his money as a partner in a private equity firm, but that private equity firm does not own the Boston Celtics. So maybe Bill is bringing a private equity mentality to running the Celtics. But I just want to make that.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I mean,
totally fair.
in the world of Otro Capital.
Correct. That's very fair.
I feel like we need to make that distinction. Yeah, maybe he's going El Cheapo on it. I don't think paying Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum Supermax contracts is probably all that feasible going forward. We've talked about how rough the penalty is for being in the second apron. I don't think Boston had to make that decision today.
No, they didn't.
Or yesterday,
Absolutely
I guess
not.
it was. They didn't have to make that decision now. I would buy more into the personality conflict than I would some sort of private equity deal. And by the way, and Kyle, we're talking about a lock today. Shout out to David. He was on earlier, and we're talking about him a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee passed on Jaylen Brown because they found out that his market sucked. Because Milwaukee's not trading for Jaylen Brown to play him.
Shams came out and said that initially Philly came to Boston, or Boston came to Philly, and said, it's all your picks, plus VJ Edgecombe, who just finished third in Rookie of the Year voting, if you want to get, and you have to take Paul George, I believe, if you want Jaylen Brown. So it's everything you have, your best rookie young player, and a bunch of draft picks. And Boston, of course, said...
No, Philly.
No, Philly said no. Philly said no. And by yesterday... Philly was the last man standing, and Boston had no other place to go and just had to take whatever Philly would offer.
Which was significantly less.
Certainly didn't get VJ Edgecombe and 5 picks.
But yeah, Milwaukee would not have traded for Jaylen Brown to somehow start building around Jaylen Brown. Your favorite thing that the window doesn't match
doesn't
up.
open.
So they were going to turn around and flip Jaylen Brown. And
Correct.
if there's no market or nobody wants Jaylen Brown, then don't trade for him and take what you can get from Miami, which is what I think is likely
That's
happening.
probably very accurate.
I think, and this is kind of the theme of the week, I don't think anybody in the NBA wanted Jaylen Brown, his persona, at that price point.
I think that's probably true.
When I say his persona, I mean that this is a guy that obviously wants to be a 1A on a team. Like, he's not going to come in and say, hey, he's not going to pull a Mike Conley when he got traded to the Jazz and say, hey, how can I fit in with you guys? Mm-hmm. He's coming in to say, hey, I'm the Supermax guy that just took my team to number 2 in the Eastern Conference last year with nobody else on my team. So fall in line and give me the basketball.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
Nobody wanted that.
Yeah.
Particularly at that price point. Now, Philly is desperate in their own weird way, because they still have Joel Embiid and they've got some nice young players, but they're probably telling themselves they should win now because they've got players on a bargain deal. So this is our time to be Oklahoma City or whatever. But I don't know if this is going to do it.
Boston probably could have traded Jaylen Brown in a move similar to what we saw Miami do with Jimmy Butler, which, remember, Jimmy became a total headache as well.
Yep.
He was actively combative within the Miami locker room. He wasn't around the team. I think he was getting sent home from things.
He did. Yeah, he games with the Jazz.
And they still found a way to trade him because Golden State was desperate to put a winner next to Steph Curry. And actually, for the rest of that regular season, they were really good, and then they flamed out in the playoffs, and I think he got hurt, and then it didn't matter at all. Boston probably could have been patient, waited till the trade deadline, found a team that was desperate, that wanted a Jaylen Brown to pair with whoever their star is if they thought, well, maybe we can still salvage this season with this Hail Mary, and that's going to be Jaylen Brown. And they were impatient, to your point where they probably didn't need to make that move yesterday. For whatever reason, they felt like they didn't have the guts to wait out Jaylen Brown and then find the best deal for themselves, which really does pay off. If you have patience, you're probably going to get a better deal. You just have to deal with some discomfort for a while.
Again, I don't think Brad Stevens knows what he's doing.
Danny Ainge, and I'm going to say Danny because it was Danny and Justin Zanuck at the time before Austin got here. You know, the Jazz traded Rudy Gobert on July 2nd, 4 years ago to the day, to today. The Jazz traded Rudy Gobert, a day after they traded Royce O'Neal. And Donovan was on the roster, and everybody knew the Jazz were going to trade Donovan. They knew it. Quinn Snyder had already left. The Jazz were turning the page.
Yeah, we were here doing the show.
We were here
I
doing
remember
the show.
quite well.
And Danny didn't trade Donovan on July 4th or July 12th or August 10th or August 19th. He waited till September 1st because he was fine with the discomfort. He did not get rattled by the idea that everybody knows the Jazz are trading Donovan. Donovan's saying this or whatever. His people are saying this, or he wants to be in New York. All the pressure is he's got to be in New York or Brooklyn. Danny didn't care. Ryan Smith didn't care. Justin Zanuck didn't care. They just let the price be out there and see who wants to raise and who wants to raise and who wants to raise. And then by the time the Jazz felt like, okay, we're probably at a little bit of a deadline, we actually have to take the step forward, they found a pretty good deal from Cleveland to get a bunch of picks and Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton.
And Walker Kessler.
Well, no, that was in the Rudy.
No,
trade.
that was the Rudy trade. Yeah,
Ochai
you're right.
Agbaji.
Yep.
And pulled the trigger. But they didn't mind that summer stunk. They didn't let that temporary discomfort force them into this trade, force them into R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and a couple of draft picks from the Knicks.
Yep.
They said, no, we want a better deal. We're going to wait till we get the better deal. I'm sorry, Jazz fans. This is going to hurt for a little bit, but we will figure it out. And I think that willingness to have a stiff upper lip helped the Jazz. And I don't think Boston has it without him.
Stay tuned. We'll get to voicemails coming up next. If you have something to say, leave us a voicemail. Go to KSLSports.com or the KSL Sports app, hit the voicemail feature, and you can leave us a message. We'll get to that straight ahead. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hot take to Christian. There used to be a restaurant called Training Table. That was a restaurant back in the day where you would sit down and order from a phone. Their fry sauce was barbecue sauce and mayonnaise. So just think about that. Love you guys.
What's up, Jake and Ben? This is Chris. I've got a suggestion for the show based on some of your recent conversations around fry sauce and ketchup and peanut butter. Kind of reminded me that there's a bit of a gap in the market on KSL Sports with some recent changes about food talk. And so I wondered maybe we could mix some more food talk into our What You Got Wednesdays and maybe replace some of the movie takes. I know that's kind of your lane, but yeah, let's mix it up. People like food. It's a fun debate. So, yeah, just a thought. Love you guys. Bye.
Hey, long-time absorber, first-time caller. Just wanted to say, hey, appreciate you guys doing the show. Thanks for all the Jazz coverage.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for leaving a voicemail, Jacob. We appreciate it. First one was from Corbin and then from Chris. Training table dipping sauce was amazing.
I don't remember it at all.
Oh, it's amazing.
Chris, did you ever go to Training Table?
I don't think I did. I remember seeing commercials for it.
But you know the whole thing?
Right.
There was a phone at your table and you picked up the phone and ordered.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, growing up in Brigham City, like coming to Salt Lake was a huge event for us. So we hardly ever made it down to the big city.
Yeah.
Hey, spare me your training table slander. I loved training table.
That's fine.
That was my, you know what?
But that being the gimmick by itself is absurd. You just
got
have a server come over.
It sounds cool to me. I would try it.
You got to order when you want. You didn't have to wait for the stupid server.
You can go into any restaurant right now, open your phone, and use DoorDash to order food inside that restaurant while you're there.
Yeah, but then I'm paying a third party. Why do I want to pay DoorDash anymore?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, well, you're paying for those phones too, pal.
I'd rather just pick not the phone at my table at training
you were.
table.
You don't think that was built into the bill?
Heck no.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? That training table reminds me of post-baseball games.
Yeah, I believe that.
We would that was a popular spot when you got done with the baseball tournament or whatever. It's like, let's hit up the training table. Let's go get some of that dipping sauce. And then to Chris, I don't know if it's possible to make food a bigger part of the show. Maybe on What You Got Wednesday, we could mix in some food topics. But neither you nor I don't want to speak for you. I'm not really a foodie.
I cook a lot. Obviously, we love our friends at Beehive Meals, but I do cook a lot and eat a lot of different foods. I have a smoker. I use it a lot. I have a sous vide. I have all the toys. I do. What, Chris?
That one's Chris. Yeah.
What Chris probably doesn't remember is one of our very first What You Got Wednesdays was dinners. We just drafted dinners. Do you remember this?
No.
And we forgot to draft pizza and burgers.
Whoops. And
people wouldn't let us get away from it. And that was kind of the end of us drafting foods. We have drafted sauces before. We have drafted some of these things for sure. But we were drafting dinners, and I think I took soups over pizzas, and you took, something casual over salads over burgers.
Uh-huh.
And Scotty weighed in, and then everyone weighed in,
and we just got killed.
We were like, okay, we're not doing food anymore. So I'm not opposed to it, in all honesty, but
all right,
we have tested the waters, and we failed. Not you failed. We failed.
But if you're looking for me to eloquently describe foods for 10 plus minutes, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I can't get into
That's totally fair.
The creaminess of the mashed potatoes and how they meld with the butter and then go on and on about it. I just can't.
No one knows this because nobody's ever seen it. But in between one of my radio stops, I hosted a food show on TV for Xfinity Television, where I'd go to different restaurants locally and eat and try the food and have to talk about it. And at that point in my life, I had not eaten enough food to be good at the job, which is A, why I don't still have the job, and B, it's probably giving me a little reserve of how comfortable I am talking about food.
Well, maybe you hold down the food side.
I had a duck with chocolate sauce in Ogden, and I had no idea what to say about it because I'd never had duck before, or a chocolate sauce that wasn't on ice cream. So I didn't know I had to say this was good, or fatty, or rich, or too rich, or delicate, or whatever. Sorry to those people.
What are
I
you
had to
looking
pay
at
the
me for?
bills.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
had to pay the bills. I don't know.
I can't accept the apology for some restaurant you slandered. I don't know.
I didn't slander them. I said it was good, but I didn't have anything to compare it to, so I wasn't exactly breaking it down, the X's and O's.
So you lied to your viewers then. It could have been just straight garbage.
2 viewers watching Xfinity TV in a hotel room who were looking for a place to go in Ogden might have gotten bad information from me.
They probably went and said, man, this duck sucks.
I liked the food,
guy is an
but
idiot.
yeah, if you were a duck guy, I don't know. Maybe it was bad duck, but I thought it was good. I'd never had duck before. I've only had duck once since.
All right. Good talk, Ben.
Thank you.
All right, 6 o'clock hour coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.